What's good, my people? Welcome into Buckets, Action Network's daily NBA betting podcast. We're in the Work Shop Thursday NBA slate, and you know who with me. J Money is Money. Follow the man everywhere at J Money is Money. The YouTube channel is still rocking. Follow him everywhere. You know the deal. We get the play, we get the cap, we get you guys out of here. Don't forget, subscribe to the Action Network YouTube page. Go download the Action Network app. We are pumping out tons of stuff for March Madness, which is right around the corner. We record this live from our Tommy John home studios. Me and Jay Money looking to go back-to-back on a little mini sweep. Went 2-0 on Tuesday. Let's go 2-0 on a Thursday. Jay Money is Money. Give me your best bet for the Thursday NBA slate.
Give me the Nets plus the 3.
Respect the Nets, man. Been telling y'all Fernandez got those boys playing hard. They showed you what time it was against Cleveland for 44 minutes of the game. They couldn't pull off the dub, but they did cover that team total for me. I'm going with the Milwaukee Bucks minus 5.5, minus 110 in the market, widely available as we record this at 11:30 on Wednesday night. All right, Jay Money, let's get into it. Straight back to the Brooklyn Nets. They're in Chicago on the road, still getting a few, still continue to crack people over the head in the first quarter every single night. They just can't close. Every game, no one takes them seriously to start, and then they get to the fourth. They can't close out games. You called it out. Cam Thomas back in the fold helped them tremendously on offense. B2B, bag to bucket is what I like to call Cam Thomas, an absolute pure scorer. Tell me why you're looking at the Nets here on the road. Probably one of the smallest numbers they've been getting on the road in quite some time.
Yeah, and probably and the Bulls laying 3 here as well, which is which the way that they've been playing. You look at the Bulls; they're 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 games. They've won 3 straight versus Orlando, Miami, and the Pacers as well. I mean, like I say, they've covered 8 of their last 10 games, man. But they will be without one of their main guys that really pushes the pace. He's a really key gear to their pace as well, and that's Josh Giddey as well, man. So he was in a walking boot. He's going to be out for a little while, they said. And so for the Bulls, I do think that this is a little bit of a fade spot for them, in my opinion. Without Lonzo, without Giddey, those are the main guys that really like to push the pace as well. And for the Nets, they're not out of the play-in tournament. If you look at it, which they couldn't have took that loss versus the Charlotte Hornets, that was a bad loss, but they have covered 3 of their last 4 spreads, so they're 3-1 ATS last 4. Almost beat the Cavs. They got up by 18 points versus the Cleveland Cavaliers, and like you said, they just couldn't really close it out. But usually in those teams that they get up against them, and then the other team comes back, they usually have a strong defense. Well, let me tell you a little secret here. The Bulls do not have a strong defense. They want to beat you with offense. They want to shoot 40, 50 threes, and they want to beat you with pace as well. And like I say, without Giddey out there, I really feel like that's really going to hamper their ability to push the pace versus this Nets team. This is pretty much the season right here for the Nets. I know that they have about 17 games left, but they're 5 games out of the 10th spot in the East for the play-in tournament. And guess who's in that 10th spot? Well, it's pretty much either going to be the Bulls or the Heat, because the Heat are doing their best to make sure that they got the 10th as well. But if they want to catch the Bulls and make the play-in tournament, this is a huge game, because it wouldn't just get you a half game. It gets you 1 full game closer to getting there as well. I think this is a very winnable game for the Nets here. Don't know if D'Angelo Russell's going to play, but I believe that they've just been resting him on back-to-backs. Same thing with Cam Thomas as well, man. So I think this is a spot where the Nets are fully healthy in this particular game. I don't think it's not a first leg of a back-to-back or anything like that. So Nets should be fully healthy, should be fully focused. If they want to make the play-in tournament, a win here would go a long way, in my opinion here. And I think it's possible, especially with the way that the Heat are playing as well. So with about 17 games left, this is a huge game for the Nets. And I also think this is a fade spot as well for the Bulls without Josh Giddey. Lonzo Ball doubtful as well. But even if Lonzo played, I think they're really going to miss Giddey here. If you watch him play, he's the main guy that pushes the pace, and he's almost like a walking triple-double for the Bulls. He does everything. Points, assists, rebounds, he does everything. That's going to be a huge huge hole in their offense. And let's be real, that's what the Bulls want to win with. They're not locking teams down on defense. That's just not their style of play. They want to run you off the floor. And I think it's really going to be hard for them to do that without Josh Giddey. And can't talk myself off taking the points here with the better defensive team in the Brooklyn Nets. I think the better coach team as well. So I'm going to rock with the Nets here, +3.
Where are they going to make up this production, the Bulls, on the offensive side? Josh Giddey last time out in a big win versus the Pacers had 29, 10, and 4. He was a +26. Now, plus minus can tell you a lot of different things, and sometimes it's a lot of lies, but it wasn't in that game. So you remove Josh Giddey, you remove Lonzo Ball. Ayo Dosunmu's been out for a while now and will continue to be out. They misdiagnosed a shoulder. If you want to hear a wild-ass, very on-brand Chicago Bulls story, go look up the Ayo Dosunmu fracture in his shoulder that he's had for quite some time. And the legendary Chicago Bulls medical staff couldn't find it, didn't pick it up. It's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother podcast. But, yeah, I think you make some good points, J Money. Josh Giddey being off the floor is going to be a huge hole. And when you talk about, I really like to fade teams that are down their ball handlers. The guys that are going to have the rock a vast majority of the time. So you pull out Giddey and you pull out Zoe, it's just a really big lift for Trey Jones. He's going to have the rock in his hands at all times. And we've been talking about it, or I've been talking about it. Brooklyn does not mess around. They play a lot of guys that are fresh. It's no Mikal Bridges chirping going on in Brooklyn. There's guys playing 22 minutes. It's like 7 of them. So they get a lot of guys rotating in and out, fresh bodies all the time. It's going to be a big ask out of Trey Jones and Kobe White. I would look at Trey Jones over assists, depending on what that number looks like. I would look at potentially even his points plus assists, depending on what that looks like, because they're just going to have to find some type of offense in this game. When I saw that Giddey and Zoe were doubtful, I thought this would be like a pick'em game. I was pretty shocked to see them still be a 3-point favorite in this spot. And I wouldn't be shocked if this closed closer to 2, maybe even 1.5, depending on what happens with the injury report the rest of the day. So respect the Nets, man.
Thanks. Yeah,
Respect
I think they have
Jordy
to grade
Fernandez. He got those boys playing hard.
That's a fact. I think they have to put the Bulls as a favor here because they've been playing so well versus top teams as well. But that also doesn't, like, if they had Giddey here, they'd probably be laying 5 points, to be perfectly honest with you, maybe even a little bit more. But they have to favor him because they've been playing so well. Like I say, we call a spade a spade. The Bulls have been hooping, but Giddey has been a lot of that, though. He's been playing, he's been balling every game. That's a fact.
Yeah,
he's the main one that pushes the pace as well. So Trey Jones and Kobe White, Kobe White can, but Trey Jones don't really push the pace like that. He want to slow things down, in my opinion. So I think that's a nice matchup for the Nets. Let's just hope that they don't do any of that, injury report manipulation stuff, or were they resting guys that will. If I'll tell you this right now, if the Nets are resting somebody and they're not on the front end of a back-to-back, that tells you that they don't really care about the play-in tournament. So keep an eye out for that. But if everybody goes, I think that they know that they're not out of it yet. They can still possibly go on a run, and they definitely have to win this game if they want to make the play-in.
Yeah, Zach Collins can also be a nice little PRA look as well. He'll probably be leaned on to do some more creation, get guys like Herter open looks like Giddey and the rest of the guys Trey Jones do. So, yeah, let's see what the Brooklyn Nets can get done. All right, J Money. Let's go to the Milwaukee Bucks. -5.5, -110 versus the Los Angeles Lakers. Let's start with the injury report. Luka Doncic, questionable. 5.5. And on the flip side, Giannis and Dame are probable as we record this on Wednesday night, 11:37 p.m. -5.5 is probably like a 50-50 spot. You know what I'm saying, Jay? If Luka goes, this probably goes down to 3.5. If he doesn't, this goes to 7.5. So
Sure.
it's kind of right in the middle. They're playing both sides on a 50-50, trying to see what happens with Luka Doncic. But I feel comfortable jumping out in front right now and taking the Bucks and laying the -5.5. Bucks coming off 2 straight losses and a ridiculous one at that. Tough L versus the Celtics, but played them tough. And then Halliburton throws up a running triple that's all net, gets a foul. We wait for the replay. They looked at it for 15 minutes. Halliburton knocks down the free throw. They end up getting the win. It was a crazy game. Giannis, for whatever reason, took the ball out of bounds. They tried to get it to Dame, couldn't get it done, whatever. But a ridiculous loss, and they've lost 2 in a row after ripping off a streak of some wins and playing really good basketball. But overall, Jay, I've been extremely impressed with the defense. Last 10 games, 4th in defense, number 1 in defensive rebounding percentage. Lopez, Giannis, and those guys have been cleaning up the glass. And 5 of those games are against top 11 offenses in the NBA. 3 of them are the top 3 in Boston, Cleveland, and the Nuggets. They slowed up all 3 of those squads and got them off their offensive peak that we tend to see on a night-to-night basis. Similarly to what the Thunder just did to Boston with them shooting 63 threes, only hitting, I think, 20 tonight. The Oklahoma City Thunder slowed them up, made them uncomfortable, just like they make everybody else uncomfortable on the perimeter, if we're being honest. But I really like how they've been playing defense, especially the last 10, against high-quality O's. And when we talk about the pace, Bucks have been playing pretty quick. Last 10 games, 101.4 possessions per game. That's 8th in the NBA. Lakers all the way down at 96.5. That's 27th in the NBA. So at home, coming off 2 straight losses, I like Milwaukee to be able to dictate and play their style, and that's going to be quicker. That makes the Lakers uncomfortable, especially when LeBron James is off the floor. And that's flat out the biggest reason why I don't trust the Lakers. Where's the production going to come from, J Money? Where are the buckets going to come from? This is buckets. Let's talk buckets. Where are they going to come from the Lakers? They get 24 from Gabe Vincent last time out. They get 19 from Dalton Connect, and they get 17 from Jordan Goodwin. They scored 108 on the Nets. That's not going to get it done. Luka was terrible from the floor. Still looks like he's just not back yet. That's like how would you put it, Jay? I don't know how else to put it. It looks like the legs aren't there. He's not in shape yet. He's maybe still dealing with a little bit of a lingering calf, but overall, the eye test, he looks sluggish, and he's just not shooting it and producing like he has been. You look at the last 10 games, all the shooting numbers are going down the tubes like the S&P 500. So it's been rough sledding offensively for Luka Doncic. Now, with LeBron, Rui, and Jackson Hayes on the floor, they played 221 minutes. The offensive rating for the Lakers was 126.5. Balanced. Boys are cooking. Hayes is at the rim. Rui's knocking down corner jumpers. LeBron doing his thing. Of course, Luka's involved in that, but those 3 on the floor, 221 minutes, 126.5 on the offensive rating. Luka Doncic, Austin Reeves, Dalton Connect, the offensive rating goes to 109.4. Only 43 minutes, but that's almost a full game. It goes down drastically. So if I could get out ahead of, combine all these things, Jay, if I could get out ahead of potentially Luka not playing, him not looking himself offensively, those 3 guys who are going to be their primary offensive guys, you could throw in Gabe Vincent. I don't know where the offense is going to come from against a team that's been playing and leaning on defense last 10, playing fast-paced at home, are coming off 2 straight losses, bad ones. I think you get max effort from the Bucks because that's how Giannis does it anyway. He's going to have those boys ready to go. And offensively, I'm worried that the Los Angeles Lakers aren't going to be able to score enough points. So I'll lay the 5.5 with Luka in this 50-50 limbo state. If he goes, I'll lay the 3.5, whatever it lands at. And then if he doesn't go, this is a double-digit win for me for the Milwaukee Bucks. J Money, talk to me.
Yeah, I can't talk you off. Them missing Jackson Hayes, they're literally dependent on Alex Lynn, And then Trey Jameson coming off the bench. You maybe can put some Vanderbilt at the 5, but they're really going to be struggling here. I mean, Alex Lynn, he couldn't even make it on the Kings. And then the Lakers are going to be like, hey, let's go and get this guy. This is our center that's going to save the season. Come on, man. They picked up Trey Jameson off the street, pretty much. You're asking Jordan Goodwin to give you 17 off the bench, another guy that they pretty much picked up off the street, picking these guys up from G League teams, man. So the Lakers are the type of team that they're a little top heavy. Like, I don't mind. I like Vanderbilt coming off the bench, but when you don't have Hayes, you don't have Hayes, you don't have Hachimura, and you don't have LeBron, that's 3 of the guys that they really need for them to look well. Those other guys aren't bad when they're coming off the bench. When you're talking about giving them minutes, playing like 17, 24 minutes, that's when you start to be like, all right, look, these guys need to be playing like 10 minutes a game, man. You see what I'm saying? So, I expect the Lakers to struggle. I mean, LeBron's going to be out for 2 weeks, so they're going to have to figure it out as well. But like you said, no Jackson Hayes in this one. They're really going to struggle down low. Don't know who they're going to have to match up with Giannis in this one as well. They might have to try to start Vanderbilt, because if they're starting Dalton Connect and Alex Lynn, Giannis might go for 50, might go for a 50 burger in this one. We know that they're pissed coming off that last second loss, man. We probably should have a moment of silence for whoever had Bucks money line. It's just, it's a horrible beat right there, man. But Bucks coming off 3 straight losses, they had covered pretty much. They were 5-0-1 against the spread in their last 6 games before that. Like you said, they were cooking. So they lost a tough one versus the Magic at home, lost versus the Cavs, which that's nothing bad, but that was a really tough loss versus the Pacers, Sean. They've lost their past 2 games at the house. So this is definitely a step up, kind of a pissed off type of spot for the Bucks. Kind of looking like, okay, y'all got Luka. Y'all think y'all big and bad? Let's show these boys what's up. So I could definitely see Dame and Giannis being an absolute matchup problem for the Lakers in this one. If it's me, I'm putting Luka in the pick and roll every single time and letting the chips fall where they fall.
And if you talk Vanderbilt, Finney-Smith, Luka, Austin Reeves, now it's only been 36 minutes, but net ratings are -18. Offensive rating is a 95.8. Defense is 113.7. So you could throw a lot of different combinations in the software, and it's spitting out tough offensive numbers for the Los Angeles Lakers. And like I mentioned, I just don't know where they're going to get buckets from this really tough Milwaukee Bucks defensive team at home, coming off 2 losses. Give me the Bucks all day here in this spot. We mentioned at the top of the show that we're coming to you from our Tommy John home studios, and that's because great games start with great underwear, and Tommy John makes the greatest. Y'all know, man, I mention this all the time. I got Tommy John drawers on right now. Comfortable, flexible, breathable. Anything you need out of underwear, sleeping pajamas, and the pants and the shirt, all extremely worthwhile. Remember, when you're truly comfortable, you do everything better, and that includes betting. So if you love the Buckets podcast, if you love this crew, Jay Money, Sean Little, you'll love Tommy John. Get 25% off your first order right now at TommyJohn.com/buckets. That's 25% off at TommyJohn.com/buckets. And since we're talking Tommy John, let's get into the Tommy John Ballsy Parlay. You know how me and Jay do. We're straight bettors. So let's combine both of our singles, but with a little extra sprinkle on it. We're going to go Bucks -5.5. And then instead of Nets +3, we'll take Nets on the money line at +327. Respect the Nets. They've been playing extremely hard. I think Jay Money made a really good call out on. You can find out by a couple different nuanced things and how they go about their business if they're still serious about trying to make a push for the play-in in the East. And like I mentioned, we're talking about the Milwaukee Bucks here coming off 2 bad losses, and I just don't know where the offense is going to come from for the Los Angeles Lakers. Luka questionable, 50-50 to go. If the Lakers are going to have to count on Goodwin to pick up 17 again, Gabe Vincent to score 25, and Austin Reeves to go crazy, and Dalton Connect to score 19, like they needed to lose against Brooklyn, I think this is a good spot for the Milwaukee Bucks to take care of business. For J Money is Money, I am your host, Sean Little. Don't forget to subscribe to the Action Network YouTube page. Tell a homie to tell a friend to subscribe to the Action Network YouTube page. Tons of stuff coming out on NFL free agency at the Action Network. March Madness is in full effect. Conference tournaments going on right now as we record this, and we got it all covered over at the Action Network. For J Money is Money, I am your host, Sean Little. Follow me at Chicago Flow. Follow Jay at J Money is Money. Until next time, which is tomorrow, Jay and I'll see you next week. Let's get buckets, baby.